I've just created a blank VCL Forms application, and to it I'm going to add a grid panel, and I'm just going to align that to client. Now the grid panel is going to be what I'm talking about today, and what it allows is you to set out your controls in a grid, like a HTML table if you like, and you have one control per cell, and if you want more controls in a cell you throw in a panel or a group box or something like that. So I'm just going to add some rows and columns. Now it's rather interesting. If I set this to 25, it doesn't actually quite. I need to set it to 25 a number of times, and then it kind of all iterates out. The other option, I get 4 of them in there, is we can come down and you can manually set them, 25, or whatever proportion you want. It's a percentage. So we've now got a 4x4 grid of 16 cells. We can start adding controls. Let me try that again. Make sure that's selected. Throw on an edit and a button say, and we'll make this edit span 3 columns. And I'll just align it to top. And that to client. So it fills up, and we'll throw in memo which takes up these 6 cells. And align that to client. And we want to span 3 columns and 2 rows. And we'll throw another grid panel in here. And again, align to client. Let's get rid of the caption because it's annoying. And span 2 rows. And let's get rid of a column. And to that we can add some buttons. I might just make this a little bit bigger. So we've got 4 buttons. Column span 3. And align to client. Okay, so I've created a nice layout for our application, and what I might also do is for that top column, top row rather, that one, rather than being a percent, we'll make it absolute, and say 30 pixels is probably good. And if we run our application, I can resize it, and it automatically scales our layout to suit. So all the controls are scaled proportionally. So this is always remaining sort of 25%, and this one's 75% of the width of the form, and likewise with the heights. So to get the 30 pixels, and then everything else is divided into thirds. So that's quite simple. I could also align these to client, for instance. Client. And if we wanted gaps between our controls, there is a we can use the padding property. Let's go more to 3. Now, at design time, there seems to be a bug such that it's not quite laid things out correctly. As you can see, there's no gap down the bottom there. But if we run it, we see that the gaps are indeed laid out as we want, and we can click on the buttons and all that kind of thing. So those 4 buttons, maybe we want to turn align with margins on to give it more of a gap. Or we could use padding again. either or. Now, that's pretty much all I wanted to cover regarding the TGridPanel. It's a very powerful control and can come in useful. If you want to divide a form in half and have sort of two lists or something like that, you want to keep the size the same, you can do that with a grid panel, and you don't have to write any code resetting the control widths to match when you resize the form using the on resize on the form. If you want to know more about GridPanel, you can buy my building applications using the Visual Component Library Part 2, and I talk about 25 minutes or so on grid panels, and I also cover margins and padding and what have you in one of my other videos. And you can get to those just with the product section. So I'm Alister Christie. I hope you found this video useful. Thank you for watching.